What's good? Welcome back to the show. And if this is your first time, then welcome for the first time. This is a show called Hauling Ashcan. My name's Peter. Talk about comic books on this channel anyway, but I wanted a format that was a lot more loose and keeps it fun and keeps it exciting and keeps it energetic and unscripted, most importantly. We don't script anything here. So today we're going through another haul because that's the name of the show. That's half of the name of the show, Hauling Ashcan, right? And if you don't know what an Ashcan comic is, I talked about that in the first episode, so the real fans actually know about it. And you who are joining us for the first time, you're now a real fan. So go look up what an Ashcan comic is and go watch the first episode in this series, and then you'll know all about it. All right? So this is what we're going to do. We are going to go through this bag of comic books that I bought today. And I'm very excited about this haul. I would actually venture a guess that this is the most excited I have been in a long time about a new set of comic books that I bought, which is might sound like, yeah, you're just saying that for the camera, and I am, because there's a camera right here, so anything I say is for the camera, but I also am really excited about this one because for me, the goal in my collecting is to finish collecting, to collect everything that I want, like all of it, every single issue. And this haul that we're going to go over put me closer to that goal than any haul in recent memory that I've bought. So by the time you're seeing this, I bought this like weeks ago, but when I'm recording it, it's today. So I am feeling the excitement, even though by the time you see this weeks from now, I probably will be feeling a little bit less excitement, but I'll still be happy about it. I might even just be reading the books. So we will find out. Okay, let's get into it. So this is the package here. As you can see, I wrote the name of the show just so you didn't forget it. And I'm just going to kind of face cam myself here off to the side. So let's open it up. Perfect. Good start. We're going to start with them upside down first here because I want to reveal the first book, keep it very dramatic. All right, let's do it. Let's flip this around. Let's see what we got as our first book here. Okay, book number 1. The Last Ronin, Lost Years, cover B. This is the Kevin Eastman cover. The first couple books in the stack are just like stuff I've been reading lately as it comes out, and so those will be the boring first few issues. This is the first one. I was hoping they were going to have this when I went to the shop. I went to a new shop in Spokane, Washington. Shout out to the comic book shop in Spokane, Washington. Very cool shop. I really enjoyed it there. They have a few locations, and I'm not from the area, so I don't know what they may use to distinguish those places, but this was at the biggest location as far as I could tell on Google, because I figured might as well go to the biggest location. I have gotten the B covers for every issue in this series up to this point. I don't buy the A covers because they're cool. I like them, and I'm glad they exist because they are pictures of the Ninja Turtles, and I'm always glad that exists. But for this, I really liked the cover design that Eastman's been doing. This is a wraparound cover, and actually, this shop puts the books in bags with no boards, which controversial choice, I would say. I would say a lot of places either bag and board everything, which I hugely respect them for, even though I would not personally do that, or they just put them out there raw, just uncooked comics. And so they did not do that. They put these in a bag, which for covers like this wraparound cover, really fantastic decision. I'm a huge fan of that. So this is the back, this is the front. And yeah, Last Ronin, Lost Years, issue 4. And I'm really happy to have this cover. I have all the other B covers with the colored borders that he did. So very excited. Probably going to throw this one up on the wall, display it in a little bit today. Very exciting. Okay, and next book. Next book, you know them, you love them. If you don't, unsubscribe. The Fantastic Four. This is issue number 6. This is the Case of the Mystery Menace. I really am just in love with Alex Ross covers for this run. They've been perfect. The story has been pretty good. I have no complaints about it at the time of this recording. But the new one comes out next week, I believe. So if it gets bad and you're seeing this after the new one came out, sorry that I lied to you. Maybe I am disappointed by now. But for now, I'm very excited to read this issue. I'm very happy with how the run has been going, and really fantastic cover art on every single one. I really like the logo. I'm kind of a stickler about Fantastic Four book logos. My favorite one is the one you might have seen me wear in some videos. I have a shirt, and it's like the second iteration of the logo, I believe. I think it was the second one they used in the main run. and that's my favorite. But this one is, it's classy. It's clean. I like it. So this is number 6. Yeah, love this cover. Next up is Clobbering Time. I'm excited to read this. This has been a fun series so far. I'm a big fan of anything with the Thing, right? That's like one of my main series that I've collected. It's not in this haul, so I can talk about this because otherwise I don't want to spoil the surprise. But the Thing, I have one issue left. If I get issue 35 of the 1989 run, that will be a complete run for me of the Thing, which I am just immensely excited about. I actually found a copy today while shopping, but they had it for sale for more than what cover price said the market value was, and I thought, it might be like in the movie Memento, he takes the Polaroid and he scratches it out, and at the end of the movie, spoilers if you haven't seen Memento, I guess, which if you haven't, what are you doing? But in the movie Memento, at the end, it's revealed that because he has memory loss, he doesn't ever want to have a normal life, so he keeps tricking himself so that in the future he'll go chase a different person. And he can perpetually not solve his wife's murder so that he has some purpose in life. And he has amnesia and short-term memory loss. So as soon as he tricks himself, he forgets and he starts the chase over. And that's how I feel about the 1989 The Thing series, issue 35, because I found it today in a store. But I was like, I have looked for this for actually years at this point, and I am not going to buy it. I'm just going to pretend I didn't see it, and I'm just going to move on, and I didn't buy it. So that might be a mistake on my part, but, what are you going to do other than keep lying to yourself? This is Clobbering Time issue 4. I really like it. I like stuff with the Thing. He's very cool, and this Dr. Doom cover. These covers are like as far away from Alex Ross' style of drawing the Thing as you can get, and I love them for that. They're very pop art. They're very comic booky in a way that I don't even think we see enough of lately. So very, very cool. That's issue 4. Next up, Warlock Rebirth, number 3. Guys, people, viewers, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not reading something that Ron Lim made, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, just really reconsider your life choices. It's like those kids on TikTok that say if you're 25 and you don't have a Lamborghini, you need to do some serious considering about your life. I say, if you're any age, if you're 7 years old and you're not reading Ron Lim books, what are you doing? Have a serious conversation with yourself. Have a serious conversation with your parents. Like, hey, Mom, Dad, you guys don't really, recommend Ron Lim books enough to me. Do it. Love this. Excited to see Doctor Strange in this. Adam Warlock. I mean, it's just perfect. This is. I'm going to zoom this in here. This is my Adam Warlock costume design. This is what he's supposed to look like. If he doesn't look like this, I'm not saying it's not Adam Warlock, but I'm certainly saying that it's not Adam Warlock. So you be the judge. You know what I mean? Yeah. So this is Warlock Rebirth, issue 3. Issue 3. Love it. All right, next book. What do we got? What do we got coming up next year? Okay, Batman 422. Yeah, I should have taken the price tags off these because I'm embarrassed if you guys see the price tags and then you're like, you overpaid for that. Because here's the thing. I know. And also, I only check the value of books on cover price if, like, I'm in the shop and I'm like, oh, I want this so bad, but I don't want to pay that much if it's not worth that. But if it's anything where I'm like, oh, well, if I spent this much on this book, it would not be the end of the world, then I just get it. And I'm not saying that's not a toxic trait. I'm not saying I'm a good person. I'm not saying I can get this sticker off here because clearly you are watching me be unable to do that. But here's the thing. I met Jim Starlin. I love his work. I think he's a fantastic guy, and I cannot afford the Death in the Family issues. I also cannot get this sticker off. There we go. Took a little break there. Just got it off. Just took a little cut to get the sticker off. I met Jim Starlin. I love his work, and I can't afford the issues of A Death in the Family, even though that's his best Batman story, the most iconic. But I tell you what, there is nothing I love more than a Batman cover where he's holding a big knife. And I tell you that because the Batman Year 2 Todd McFarlane cover, where he's holding a big knife, is my all-time favorite Batman cover, I say hesitatingly, because as soon as I say that, I'll think of something else, like the issue that comes right after this. 423 is the issue. That's Todd McFarlane's famous Batman issue. It's got Jim Starlin writing it. It's just a terrific cover. This, however, this is the poor man's 423 because I still get the issue right before it. He's still holding a big knife. It's a very cool art. I love it. It's just, it's it's what I will use to comfort myself in not owning a Batman 423. So I love it, and I'm very excited about this issue, and I will probably also hang this on the wall. And if I meet Jim Starlin, I'll get a big signature right there. I think that would be a good idea. I think if I think of places he could put a signature, that would be where. All right, next book, Batman Legends of the Dark Knight, number 11, and I think right after it, number 12, 11, 12. So in, I think probably October or November of last year, I went to a place called Dreadnought Comics in Glendale in Phoenix, Arizona. If you are within 9.5 driving hours one way, go to Dreadnought Comics. I love that place. It's beautiful. I mean, it really true. I think it's very difficult to pull off a comic shop that marries hardcore collector stuff with anybody can walk in and they will also like it. And here's the thing. The location is horrible. They have maybe the worst retail location I have ever seen in my life, but they have maybe the best selection of anywhere I've ever been. And that's not an exaggeration. I really do think that. But I also think that I'm biased towards liking their collection because their display system for key books and cool covers is impeccable. A lot of times you go to a comic shop and they've got all the long boxes, they've got stuff you can dig through, they've got whatever. And then you go up to the front, and that's where the guy or woman, but realistically the guy, is standing behind the counter. And then all behind him on the wall is all the cool books. So if you are like me and 50% of the time you don't really want to have a conversation, maybe you're just there to look around and leave, or maybe you've got somewhere to be. I often have somewhere to be. You don't really necessarily always, every single time, want to chat this guy up and have a big conversation with him. He could be the nicest dude ever, and if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I won't fight it. I'll chit-chat with anybody, but sometimes you just want to look at the books, and that's it, and there's nothing wrong with that, and I don't need to feel guilt or shame, and I need to practice self-care, and sometimes just look at the comic books and then leave. And he's standing right there, and then all the cool books and all the expensive stuff and all the stuff you want to just ogle and appreciate and, whatever. It's just right there behind him. So you have to stand at the counter like you're ready to check out just to look at the books. This is a fundamental problem with comic book buying, the comic book buying experience, because I can do functionally the same thing on eBay. It's totally possible. I can go on eBay and make a list of stuff that I like and that I want, or I could just search expensive comic book and I can just look at stuff. But the tangible feeling of it being right in front of you is so wonderful, and you can't get that all the time if it's behind a counter, up on a wall, and whatever. Dreadnought Comics in Phoenix, Arizona. Whoever set this up, I would kiss him on the mouth. You walk in, to your left, there's a big room that has a bunch of action figures on the wall. It's very cool. They have a just staggering amount of collected runs of stuff, so you can just go up and pick up a brick of comics, and it's an entire series and one thing, and the prices were great on all of those. They have ample display cases with cool stuff, so that's action figures, that's trading cards, that's random memorabilia, statues, comic books, signed books, slabs, all kinds of stuff. They have new releases, obviously, any good comic shop has that, and then they have two things that I want to highlight. So first, like I said, the display is perfect. They have this these giant walls, these giant swinging walls, and floor to ceiling, and I'm talking 11-foot ceilings. The walls don't go all the way up. You could still reasonably reach the top. I mean, I can, and I guess that's not a fair comparison because I'm 6'1", so I would like to brag about that. It's not necessarily easily accessible for everybody, but you can ask them to get it down. I'm sure they have a step ladder or whatever. But the awe that you feel when you look up at these just walls and rows and rows, and it keeps going, and they're all facing forward. So you open a wall and you look all the way up and you look all the way down to the floor, and it's just every cool Spider-Man cover that has been printed in the last 30 years, or it's every cool Superman cover that has been printed in the last 20 years. Now, loosely, right, the more expensive stuff is going to be at the top because they don't want you to just put that under your winter coat and leave. But in general, it's just a mix of everything. And it's alphabetical. So if you go in and you're like, oh, I really want to see such and such, then you can. You could just go right to that section and be like, oh, here's all the Harley Quinn stuff or whatever, you weirdo. I'm just kidding. I don't hate on you if you collect Harley Quinn. I just, collect other things to throw people off the suspicion that that is the only thing that you're interested in. But I'm not judgmental. I'm a little bit judgmental, but I have my vices in comic books too, like a lot of Silver Sable appearances for absolutely no reason. So, what was I saying? The other half of Dreadnought Comics is they have the second biggest dollar bin section I have ever seen in the United States of America. And I say that with no exaggeration because I have been to a lot of comic book stores all over the country. And for a year of doing that, of traveling, the dollar bins were pretty much exclusively where I would shop. I would maybe pick up a few other books from the regular section, but I would go right to the discount bin, I should say, because dollar bins are not universally the case. You may think that they are. Oh, my place by my house, the shop I go to, they have dollar bins. That's awesome. I'm glad they do. I think all shops should have a discount bin. A lot of places have a 50-cent or 25-cent bin, and it's the same books. It's a region-specific thing. What I have found is that anywhere south of Ohio has 50-cent to 25-cent bins. That seems to be the case. Now, I have not gone all the way down. I don't know what they have in, like, Georgia, Alabama, Florida. But anything in Kentucky, Tennessee, in general, around that swath of, like, the southern Midwest-ish, I don't know what you classify that as, 25-cent, 50-cent bins. Dreadnought Comics has a dollar section that is larger than almost any other dollar section I've ever seen. Like, wildly impressive. Now, to give you a sense of my dedication to dollar bins and also my mental illness, probably, I picked a day when I didn't have anything else going on, and I walked in an hour after they opened, and I went through their dollar bins until they closed. So that was, I believe, 5.5 hours that I was in the store, and I didn't move from the dollar bins. I didn't eat, or I just went through the dollar bins for 5.5 hours ish, and it didn't disappoint. So this is a gigantically roundabout way for me to say, this is just a ridiculously obscene roundabout way for me to say that I bought a ton of issues of Batman Legends of the Dark Knight in that dollar bin in Dreadnought Comics. And this is issue 11 and this is issue 12 because after going through that dollar bin, I was missing like 4 issues to complete the first like 30. So I've just been picking away at these, and these were $4 a piece, and they're not worth that. They are not worth $4 a book. But at Dreadnought Comics, I filled a short box for $60. So it was a dollar section, but by the time I had filled that short box, I was paying on average 25 cents or less an issue. It was an unbelievable deal. So to me, the fact that I got most of the run for 25 cents an issue, and then I pick up a few issues for $4 a piece, doesn't bother me. Not a problem. So happy to pick these up. I love this cover of number 11. It's very cool. I'm buying this series to read because I like the writer and I like all the art and everything. Even though I think that the cover design with the boxes is hideous, I'm buying it to read. I just wish that they had invented like Virgin variant covers at the time because stuff like this would be very cool, but they haven't. So I don't get to own that, which is very disappointing. This is number 12, throwing a guy over a bar. Batman's torso is very long in this one, on this cover, which is just funny. Weird anatomy, All right. Finally done talking about Dreadnought Comics, unless I bring them up again. Let's get into the next book. Okay, here we are. So this is it. This is the first of 3 series that I completed in this haul today. And when I say completed series, 2 of the ones we're going to talk about in just a bit, I actually completed the run. I have all the issues of. This one for Iron Man, I did not, but I completed what's on my wish list, which is very exciting because I kept the Iron Man wish list pretty minimal. There was one arc that I wanted to collect in its entirety that I had a few issues of as a kid. And you may pick up a theme in my videos here about how the only reason I buy comic books is because I'm healing my inner child. And that is true, and you're not off base, and you can continue to speculate you can continue to speculate about my life in whatever way you would like to, but I had a few issues of Iron Man. I had like 301 or 300 and whatever. There's one that's like they did like a foil cover with Iron Man on the cover. I know, shocking. And so I just wanted everything that led up to that and then everything that happened after it. And the cool thing is in that run, we have the first appearance of the Hulkbuster armor that obviously was awesome in Age of Ultron. If any of you guys remember that, there's probably like a whole generation of kids born after Age of Ultron came out, which is haunting and terrifying, but it's a great suit, and I'm very glad to have the first appearance. This is not the first appearance, though. This is just issue 291 with War Machine. There's a lot of War Machine in this arc, which is awesome. I really like his character. And then this is 310, and I actually, there was like a $4 copy of this in the bin, but I bought the $6 copy because it's actually still polybagged. And it has this art print in the back, this Marvel Action Hour art print, and so it's a promo for the animated series, and so I am polybags are worthless. Do not buy them because you think they're a good idea. They are not. They never have been. They've never added value. They're damaging your comic if you care about grade, which I don't, but if you do care about the condition they're in, cut it out of the polybag, throw the polybag away. I have only two, I don't know, I have maybe 3 total polybag comics. I have the classic, what is it? Liefeld's X-Force, I believe. I think it's X. I'm not a Liefeld fan. I'm not really an X-Men reader. I'm a fan of the characters as a concept, but I don't really read them. So I'm very bad with the titles of X comics, and I probably own less than 10 total out of my collection. But yeah, X-Force with the first appearance Cable. I have that, and I have an Alpha Flight issue that's polybagged. And I would like down the road to get a Death of Superman polybag, because those are pretty cheap. So if I see one around, I'll just grab it. And just because I think that's kind of a historic piece. You know, you don't necessarily need it, but because there's a million copies out there. There literally are a million copies at least, but to me at least, it's just fun to have as kind of a piece of history. And you know, while I knock a lot of stuff, and a lot of people knock stuff that came out in the 90s, we also knocked a lot of stuff that came out in the 80s for a while, and then that stuff got really big and now is very expensive. And then early 90s stuff is just now getting expensive. A lot of like Todd's Spider-Man stuff and some other little characters here and there. They're getting more expensive. So I'm just saying, my plan is buy the stuff that nobody wants right now while it's literally 25 cents. Just get the essentials, just the stuff that like will actually be worth something. It will not be worth anything, but just buy the stuff that could. Who knows? Whatever. I'm sure that when Deadpool 2 came out, the first appearance of Cable popped just a little, just a tiny little bit. And so better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it, right? So this is a polybagged Iron Man 310. All right, let's get to the next. I'm bored of Iron Man. Let's get to the next one. Okay, this is Ultimate Power 8. This is the other series I completed. I'm fascinated by this. I think the end of the Ultimate stuff and the disaster of the Ultimate universe for everyone other than Spider-Man is hilarious. And I picked up the entire series. I think also in at Dreadnought in that $1 bin that ended up a 25-cent bin for me. I think that was where I got the rest of it. Maybe a few miscellaneous issues here and there, but it was pretty much all from there. And so I've had all but like issue 3 and issue 8. I picked up 3 a couple weeks back, and now I have issue 8. So I can actually read the whole thing now, which is very exciting. I know I probably could have spent a lot less money and just gotten a trade paperback, but come on, where's your sense of adventure? Go out there and get these weird-looking Captain America versus Nighthawk issues. Why not? Why not? All right, next book. Oh, one small note here. Jeff Loeb. I kind of like him as a writer. I don't think he gets enough credit for doing a lot of work over the years. He has like a very storied career, and I like his writing. So we're gonna see how this goes. If you haven't read Jeff Loeb's best work, it's a almost entirely silent series called Hulk Gray. That's my favorite Jeff Loeb with Tim Sale, I believe, and it's beautiful and it's poignant and it's heartfelt, and it does something with the Hulk character that I don't think we see enough, which is he's smaller physically, he is a little bit more, Jekyll and Hyde than he is just Rage Monster. Like, the anger's there, but you can tell there's some turmoil to the character, and that's cool. And so Jeff Loeb, man, he can totally land it. So I'm feeling positive about this. Okay, next book for real. Okay, Warlock and the Infinity Watch, literally a run filler. I bought this book because I need the full series. I just do. It's just a problem I have. And I think there actually is a few. No, I guess not. Maybe I don't. Oh, I guess I didn't get any more Warlock. I thought I got a few more in the stack. This is Warlock and the Infinity Watch number 18. I love it. I'm stoked to read this. I have made myself wait. I have every single issue of this series up to maybe whatever. With this one, with 18, I think that puts me at 20 is the first 20 that I own, and then I have a ton of the rest of the run, but I'm missing just like a bunch of issues, and I'm making myself wait until I get the whole run to read it in one go. Which I'm very excited about. I think that's cool. And my first ever slabbed book, my first ever graded book, was a Warlock and the Infinity Watch number 1. And so that's very exciting. And I'm excited to read this. This is a weird looking cover with Pip the Troll. He's got a face in his crotch. So we'll see what happens when I get to that one. I'm not it's far from the most like out of pocket insane book that I have, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, this is it. This is the third series that I completed today, and it's the one that there's the most of in this stack, I think. So this one I did it. I completed the whole series, which is like thrilling. And it's the first, I think, if I'm not wrong, and I might be wrong, and I'll put a little note here in the edit if I confirm that I am correct or incorrect. But this is the first like long-running, like full series, not like an event, not like a mini series, whatever, that I have gotten every single issue of. I have quite a few that I'm right on the brink of. Like I need one issue of the thing. I need like 4 issues of Quasar or so. Like it's just like there are so few left that I need. But Wonder Man, I actually did it, and I started collecting this later than a lot of the rest of those. I started collecting this in August of last year. Was the first time I bought the first 4 issues out of a dollar bin in Michigan, and then I was like, all right, well, I guess let's see if I can do it. Like, let's see how difficult it would be. I want to give a big shout out in this specific instance to somewhere that I bought a lot of these issues actually, which is now I cannot remember the name. It is Captain Nemo Games and Comics in San Luis Obispo, California, on the Central Coast. Beautiful shop, really, really cool. They have a comic store / game store / record store, new releases like board games, role-playing games, just like they've got everything. It's one of the biggest record stores that I've ever been in. Like, it's that impressive that the catalog of just the record store is gigantic. And then upstairs, there's this like hidden away little room, and that has a gigantic comic book selection and an entire catalog of that. So I bought a lot of Wonder Man there and really plugged the run in a great way. So we have issue 8 here, which is the earliest one I got today. We got one of these sideways covers, which I think is fun. I think there's a few in this run that are sideways, actually. This is number 19. Yeah, Wonder Man 19, The Crazy 8. That's cool. And then we have number 21, the second appearance of Splice, I believe. I think he appears one other time in this book in like issue 2 or 3, and then he comes back here. He might appear another time in between, but I'm not sure. And then number 29, which I was very excited about, Spider-Man cover appearance. I don't know if that's Dormammu or who this is supposed to be in the middle here. Some villain of the week little character they made up for Wonder Man. But so I talked in one of the previous issues of this very show of Hauling Ashcan about getting the Wonder Man one-shot, which is the first solo series appearance. And so as of today, I own all of Volume 1 with that single issue, and now all of Volume 2 of Wonder Man. And they haven't done that many recurring series with him. So it's very exciting to have just about everything. My thought is, given the amount of work I put into buying all these, I'm not like insanely keen on getting rid of them. I do hope that they do an omnibus of this. I know it would probably be a few years down the road. There's a big backlog of stuff that has a lot more fan demand, And I'm still holding out that we're getting Darkhawk or Sleepwalker. If we get one of those, you will see me out in the streets just dancing and screaming and singing. But I don't remember where I was going with that. I lost my trail of thought. But my thought is that I'll get all these in one place. You know, I'll have every issue of Wonder Man Volume 1 and Volume 2. And then who knows? The show will come out, and I feel like there's a decent to high likelihood that the Wonder Man books go up in value, and if I have a complete run, I might stand a chance to make a little cash, a little money on the side. And I don't care. I'm so money hungry. Not because I am like destitute. I'm actually, I'm fine. I have a fine life, but I am extremely greedy, and so you can never have enough, basically. And if the price is right for a full set of Wonder Man, or even just for like issue 1 or the first 5, here you go. It's on eBay, posted, sold, auctioned. Buy it now, free shipping, whatever. It's gone if it makes me money. And then I'll go out and, I don't know, buy alcohol with it or something. But yeah, it's Wonder Man. All right, that's the whole Wonder Man thing. Let's get to, I only have 2 more books. This episode is going to be short. 2 more books that we're going to get into. Maybe I'll think of some weird stuff to say in the meantime. All right, Wonder Man completed. All right, here we go. This is Iron Man 210. This was $1, as you can see here by the price tag that says $1. This place, a comic book store in Spokane, had some really nifty dollar bins. I have kind of not spent as much time looking through dollar bins in the last couple of months. It's just not really been my vibe. Honestly, once I got my wish list to a point where I knew every single book that I wanted and it was like super ironed out, I just stopped going in dollar bins because I could go through my wish list alphabetically through the shop, and I could just make a loop through all their boxes. And with the dollar bins, while it's a lot of fun and I do enjoy doing it, I can't predict what's going to be in there, and they're not ever alphabetized, obviously. And so it's hard to know if you're going to find anything that you might want. But these dollar bins seemed pretty good. I got 2 books out of them, and they had a lot of stuff loaded right into the front, which I think that's the secret to a dollar bin. If you are going to refresh your dollar bins at your shop, just take like the couple of Spider-Man books, like the couple of Hulk or Captain America, like a character people know. Just stick 3 of those issues in the front of each box. And all that does, and maybe I'm not representative of the entire population, but as far as I can tell, all that does is it's just a lie. Like, it just tricks me when I walk up. I go, oh, they got Spider-Man on the dollar bins, and then I dig through the whole box, and the whole rest of the box is Valiant, and the whole rest of the box is like Image stuff that no one has ever read in their life. But the allure of, oh, well, there was an Avengers book like on the front of this box, so there's probably some good stuff from real publishing, and then it's just, nope, it's just X Factor. It's just Batman and Bane. It's just Nightfall stuff. It's just like Spawn issues that no one wants. So that's like, to me at least, that's the way to do it. That's the way to trick people into shopping in your dollar bins. But I also understand that dollar bins are not the profit cow that a shop needs to survive. Like, if they only sold out their dollar bin, I think they probably would lose money, because I assume that anything, I assume, I could be wrong, right? I'm not a comic book shop owner by any measure, but my assumption is that the dollar bins are mostly filled with stuff that either has some sort of condition problem, so it can't be sold for like the market value. Like, I found okay, good example here, actually. I found a copy of one of the newest issues of Saga in this dollar bin. And I see the corner and I see the logo and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, wow, they've got Saga in their dollar bins like that. Those are, the resale market on these. I've gone into shops and seen like every issue of Saga for $10 a piece for the entire first run. I thought, okay, so this issue that they're putting up here just came out like 3 or 4 months ago. So like, there's no way it's only worth $1. And then I lifted it up and the entire side of the issue had this huge scratch in it. So it's obvious they can't sell something that's in bad shape off the wall. They can't put it in a bag and board and charge cover price for it or more, even though it might in peak condition be worth triple cover price. Like, they have to keep their money up. So so my point was, so with dollar bins, I assume a lot of the time that the reason they have those books in there is because it's the stuff that either is too beat up to sell for fair market value, or it's probably the stuff that they just don't want to deal with. It's like we bought a lot of 200 books, and 25 of them were worth money, and the rest will just dump in the dollar bins. But we'll make enough money on the 25 to cover what we lost on the dollar bin books. And then if people buy them for $1 and maybe we got them for, $1.50 a book or 75 cents a book, like maybe there's some wiggle room in there. It all kind of averages out in the end. That's my assumption based on no market research, based on not asking anybody at a shop. But I just feel like that has to be the way that it works. And if you own a comic book shop, I really want to know how that works. So please, drop a little comment, a little conversation in there. Okay, so now that we've spent 45 minutes talking about the ways you can run your comic shop and organize your dollar bins, all right, let's talk about this. So this is Iron Man number 210. I like picking up Iron Man books that are totally worthless because they're just fun. There's just a lot in the Iron Man stuff that they never put in the movies, and now with Tony Stark, being gone, they probably are not going to ever adapt this. Or if they do, it's going to be so far in the future. Like they picked the stories, they picked some of the best stories. I don't fault any of the stuff they put in the MCU, but they definitely didn't go all the way with his entire history. And I think it's interesting to pick up pieces of his history and say, hey, I've got some story that's never going to make it to the big screen, and I know that for sure. Like any character that's still alive, you never know. Or like Captain America even, right? Like there's a lot of room to take Captain America stories that were told in the past and do them with Sam, with the Falcon Captain America. And it wouldn't really functionally be any different. There's no real reason to do one or the other. So those are still out there. But Iron Man, we don't have a clear replacement. I guess they could hypothetically take some of these old stories and do them with Ironheart if she sticks around and, they keep her story going. I would say do like her own stories, do stuff that's unique to her. But I'm obviously not in charge at Marvel, which I know is shocking to hear. But it's just, I don't know. I like the old Iron Man stuff. I like the logo design. This is just like a great logo design, and it's very simple. It's very comic booky in like in a bad way. I mean, to me, it's so funny because I'm actually going to grab one of the ones I talked about earlier here, one of the Iron Man issues, because the ones that the logo they ended up going with in the upper 200s up to the early 300s right here, this logo looks like it's riveted together. Like it looks like Iron Man. That's like part of the mythos of the character. Let's zoom it in a little bit so you can get a better look. Like part of what makes the character work, I think, is the logo design. The visual branding establishes this like really stately, really like not even stately. It just feels like it's carved out of stone or metal. Like it's very tough. It's very big. It's very impressive. And to me, it's always been hilarious that it was the logo they ended up going with, but before that, it was this logo that looks like it looks like a Microsoft Word font. Like honestly, it does. It looks like something that I could pull up on Microsoft Word and be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna type Iron Man on the cover of this comic book. It's just very simple, and I like that about it. It has charm to me, so I'm a fan of that. And I have always wondered if you took a ruler and you lined it up with all these shapes here that are coming off of the back of the letters, if it is all mathematically perfect. Because I know from my experience in illustration and from examples I've seen and stuff, it's very tough to pull that off because sometimes it looks wrong when it's perfect. So I don't know. I'm basically just making things up at this point at a high speed. All right. Let's not waste time. All right, you got places to be. You got stuff going on. Let's just get to the last book. I don't even remember what it was, and I bought all these today, and I couldn't even tell you what the last book was. Even though I know it's from the dollar bin, I know it was the first thing I picked up when I walked in. I don't know. So let's see. What do we got? Drum roll, please. Oh yeah, okay. Web of Spider-Man number 10. This dollar bin book. This is the example of what I was talking about. This is like reverse psychology. Like I saw it, and I was like, all right. Web of Spider-Man, front of the box, and I just picked it up. I'm like, 10, that's like an early issue in the run. That's black suit. Like, I'm sold. And then I dug through the entire box that was just nothing. Just copies of nothing. Just issues that no one has ever read. And this was the only thing in that box. And it's got Dominic Fortune, whoever that is. Nobody knows. No one's ever heard of that character. And so now I know, of course, I'm going to get the most hardcore Dominic Fortune fan in the comments be like, dude, no, man, I grew up on Dominic. Like, dude is so cool, so hype. Awesome. I've never heard of him, but apparently he was in Web of Spider-Man number 10, and it's a newsstand. So even though the entire thing is just annihilated, there's like a giant crease down the middle. It's a newsstand, you know, so it's worth more money because that's how it works universally. Which just to touch on newsstand versus direct edition a little bit, because I talked about this in the last video and I couldn't remember how much I talked about it. And I will probably do a formal scripted, you know, Peter Dare experience video on newsstands versus direct editions if I really, really am scraping the barrel for ideas. But I always buy direct editions if I can help it. They are easier to find at comic book stores because that's where they originally were, in comic book stores. They are often in better condition because they either never left the comic book store or they were owned by someone who bought comics from a comic book store. So they were probably owned by a collector at some point. They look better. The art is better. When they were printing direct edition books with the little Spider-Man face on the corner, the peak of design. When they were printing it with the little Avengers 30th anniversary, the peak of design. I know that was in 1993. I'm praising a 90s decision choice here. That was beautiful. Any direct edition, when they would just put the name of the artist and the writer in so beautiful. Now I understand that that's kind of unethical because that meant in the newsstand edition that the artist and writer did not get their name printed on the cover, and I think that's messed up. And I think that artists deserve, you know, credit, and you should get your stuff put out there. But there's just nothing like a good direct edition cover. Like, those are just the peak of design. They're beautiful, they're wonderful, they're amazing. And so I'll probably just throw this away. No, I'm just kidding. I'll own newsstands if I find them. But in general, I've never met a newsstand that wouldn't be better if it was a direct edition because of the look. And I obviously know you find a high-grade newsstand, it's like a beautiful copy. Okay, awesome. That's so great. But for me, I would much prefer to get a direct edition of a book and have it actually be in good shape and actually be cool. So, yeah. And that's it. With Web of Spider-Man number 10, we've reached the end of today's haul, the Hauling Ash episode. So this is all the books that I got. This is just, you know, it's a big stack. Completed 3 series. Big day for me as a collector. Big day personally. And also very fun to be able to do these videos for you guys. I'm actually filming this before the first one even comes out. So who knows? If anybody even watches this, then I love you so much. And you're so cool and awesome. And, you know, comics, or maybe you're watching out of pity. And if you made it this far, like, comment direct editions are better than newsstands down in the comments. And, you know, whatever. All right. I'm not going to waste any more time. See you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.